an example of a problem where it's not going to divide, each place value won't divide evenly into 8. So I've already drawn my picture for 776, and we're dividing into 8 groups. Notice here at this point we've taken away the actual groups that they're dividing them into, and all that they're doing with the picture is they're keeping track of what they've gotten rid of as they subtract. So for 776 divided by 8, again I'll start with the hundreds place, and I've got 7 hundreds there. So the question is, can I break 7 hundreds into 8 groups? No, I can't. So what's going to be inside each group? 0. What have I gotten rid of? I've gotten rid of 0 hundreds times 8, or 0. And I subtract, and I still have 776 left. Now, what do I need to do with those hundreds, though? Because now I need to look at the tens. I've got 77 tens, and the way that I show that here is that those 7 hundreds are really worth 70 tens, and kids would cross that out and change it into the 70 tens. So now I have a total of 70 plus 7 tens, 77 tens, as I've underlined here. So I'm breaking my 77 tens into 8 groups. So I'm going to roll my 8s into 77, 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. Can't go to 80 because that's too far. So it's 72, that's 9 tens inside each group. So I've put 9 tens, or 90, inside each group. Now I'm going to multiply to see what I've gotten rid of. 90 times 8 is 720. And I subtract, and I get 56. Now up here I have to think carefully about what I'm going to cross out, because I need to cross out 72 tens. That's what I was able to roll into my 777. So I'm going to cross out my 70 tens there, and then 2 more tens here, and I'm left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tens and 6 ones, or 56. So I'm done with the tens place now. I need to start thinking about ones. So I'm going to trade in my 5 tens for 50 ones, and now I have a total of 56 ones. I'm going to underline that there. So now I'm breaking my 56 ones into 8 groups. So I'm going to roll my 8s. I'm going to get 7 ones inside each group. And now I'm going to multiply to see what I've just gotten rid of. 7 times 8 is 56. I subtract, and I've got nothing left over. I just got rid of my 56 ones. So my answer again is 0 in the hundreds, 90 in the tens place, and 7 ones. So 97 is my answer.
You have a lot of... There's just, the sheet is set up very well so that it's very easy for kids, but it's also like they're not always going to have times 8 down the right-hand column. Do you eventually take that away and expect them to be able to do that like by themselves, or?
Yeah, I do. And I kind of scaffolded it away slowly. For a while they had a classwork where there was nothing here, and it was just a blank. So they'd have to think about to themselves, like, okay, I've got 0 in each group, and there are 8 groups again. So I'm going to multiply to see what I've gotten rid of, subtract, and so on. So they had this set up for a while where they had to fill in the 8 themselves, and then I eventually took away the this whole structure entirely, and had them just start doing it in the grid. We had to practice that a lot. Probably took them about 3 class periods before they were all totally comfortable setting it up in the grid on their own and remembering all of those steps. But they did get there eventually. So right now, the way that they do long division looks the same as like the way you and I would do it, except they've got these extra digits here where they're multiplying by multiples of 10 and so on, and they have the multiplication along the side. But they still do it in the house.
So there was about 2 or 3 periods worth of doing it with this sort of accommodation or graphic organizer?
Oh, no, 2 or 3 periods was for the grid, where I gave them something like this, and they just had to set it up on their own.
Right.
This took several days. Probably spent like about a week worth of class just practicing this like long division method and kind of slowly scaffolding away, like drawing the picture. Like we started at first, drawing the picture and sorting into groups and then doing the long division. Then we took away the groups, only had the picture, and then did it this way. Then I took away this picture and had them do it like this, but still with the times 8. And then I took away the times 8 and had them set up what they were multiplying by themselves. And then they did it in the grid.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So.
And the other question that comes to mind is what happens with the remainder? Do you just basically have like the remainder in the picture up there, and then you write that as the remainder, or how does that work?
Yeah, they would not cross out everything. They'd have like a couple left over, and then we would just subtract and have the 2, and they were used to writing the remainder too. I think before this I did do some simple division where there was a remainder. Just before we introduced it here. So we did things like, 19 divided by 6, and you would just roll your 6s. You would figure out that you've got 3 leftovers, and so they were used to writing like an answer with a remainder. So that actually was not really a big leap at all. And I think having these pictures and having them understand like what it would mean to have something left over helped a lot. But they definitely grasped the remainders pretty well this year.